Add insult to injury.
Someone has made a bad situation worse by doing something else. To upset you. For example, they told him that he was too old for the job. And then to add insult to injury, they refused to pay his expenses.
A drop in the ocean.
Constituting a smaller portion of something large. For example, donating only 10 rupees. Might seem like a drop in the ocean, but even a small amount of charity goes a long way.
All talk and no trousers.
Someone who talks big but doesn't take action. For example, he talks a big game, but when it actually comes to asking out a woman, he's all talk and no trousers.
A left-handed compliment.
Saying something insulting in the form of appreciative words. For example, her words on my blog seem like a left-handed compliment.
As right as rain.
To feel completely well and healthy. For example, even though she was ill yesterday, Nikki took some medicine and now feels as right as rain.
A storm in a teacup.
A big fuss made about something of little importance. For example, Marcel said that he thought the whole matter, a storm in a teacup, and that it would pass quickly.
Barking up the wrong tree.
Looking in the wrong place or accusing the wrong person. For example, you're barking up the wrong tree if you think you'll get into Harvard with your grades.
Blessing in disguise.
When you realize that something bad is good but not until later. For example, getting rejected was a blessing in disguise, as it taught me the role of failure in being successful.
Blue in the face.
Weakened or tired after trying many times. For example, he argued with his stubborn friend about the benefits of exercise until he was blue in the face, but his friend refused to listen.
Bob's your uncle.
It's as simple as that used to emphasize how easily and quickly something can be achieved. For example, to make the soup, just put all ingredients into a pot, cook for 40 minutes, and Bob's your uncle.
Bursting with energy.
To have a surplus of energy and enthusiasm. For example, after a good night's sleep and a healthy breakfast, Clark was bursting with energy and ready to play all day.
Cat got your tongue.
Unable to speak. For example, "You've been unusually quiet today," she said. "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue."
To the fat.
To talk with someone in an informal and friendly way. For example, we sat in a bar most of the evening, just chewing the fat.
Ducks and drakes.
To spend lavishly. For example, this couple spent ducks and drakes at their wedding in Los Angeles.
Fit as a fiddle.
In excellent physical condition, very healthy and strong. For example, after regular exercise and a balanced diet, Willie felt as fit as a fiddle and was able to run a marathon without any trouble.
Head in the clouds.
Living in a fantasy or to be impractical, aloof, or fanciful. often to the point of being counterproductive. For example, Loli always has her head in the clouds. As she walks home from school,
Hold your horses.
wait a minute. For example, oh, hold your horses, kids. We're going to sing before we start eating cake.
In the best of health.
To be in an optimal state of physical and mental well-being. For example, the athlete followed a strict training regimen and a balanced diet, ensuring he remained in the best of health throughout the competition.
In the pink of health.
To be in a very good state of health or perfect condition. For example, despite her age, Grandma Maggie remains in the pink of health and rarely falls sick.
It's a small world.
Unexpectedly getting to meet someone you know or realizing common connections between people. For example, we bumped into each other at the airport. What a small world, isn't it?
Kick the bucket.
To stop working completely, to break down. For example, he had this truck for nearly 30 years, before it finally kicked the bucket.
Knock someone's socks off.
To amaze or impress someone to the point of astonishment. For example, the new restaurant's food quality and service knocked our socks off.
More holes than Swiss cheese.
Something that has a lot of problems. For example, Jack claimed the system had more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
Not a spark of decency.
No manners. For example, the class showed not a spark of decency by refusing to stand up when their principal entered the classroom.
On the mend.
To be recovering from an illness or injury. For example, after a week of bed rest and medication, Travis is on the mend and should be back to work soon.
Out of the blue.
Something happens suddenly and unexpectedly. For example, she received a job offer out of the blue from a company she hadn't applied to.
Pardon my French.
Sorry for cursing. For example, the teacher told to John that he shouldn't use that language. Then John said, "Oops, pardon my French, everyone."
Penny for your thoughts.
A way of asking what someone is thinking. For example, "You've been awfully quiet tonight, honey. A penny for your thoughts?"
Read between the lines.
To understand the hidden meaning. For example, one should read between the lines to understand the true essence of this poem.
Shoot from the hip.
To speak bluntly or rashly without thinking carefully. For example, "Don't feel bad about what I said. I have a habit of shooting from the hip, but I mean no harm."
Take someone aback.
To catch someone off guard or surprise them unexpectedly. For example, the sudden resignation of the CEO took the entire company aback.
To pick holes in something.
To find weak points in something. For example, as soon as he completed his project, she started to pick holes in it.
Shoot oneself in the foot.
Say something that causes problems for you. For example, I think you might be shooting yourself in the foot if you don't take his offer.